Loving, yeah, another great quote, okay. We see then how absurd it is when writers talk magnificently about loving the whole human race with a comprehensive affection, of being friends of all mankind and the like. Such vaunting professions, what do they come to? That such men have certain benevolent feelings towards the world, feelings and nothing more. The real love of man must depend on practice, and therefore must begin by exercising itself on our friends around us. Otherwise, it will have no existence. By trying to love our relations and friends, by submitting to their wishes, though contrary to our own, by bearing with their infirmities, by overcoming their occasional waywardness by kindness, by dwelling on their excellences and trying to copy them. Thus it is that we form in our hearts that root of charity, which though small at first, may, like the mustard seed, at last even overshadow the earth. This is Christ's way. It's his pattern of love. Yes, he loved the world, but he showed his love of the world through the love of his particular friends. So, okay. So a final point, a call to the Emmanuel community, I have called you friends, is a call to love and work the way Jesus loved and worked, only through intimate friendships, only through an intimate community. And we have a choice. We can go it alone, and we can do good on our own, we all know that. Or we can do it the way Jesus did it. We can bind ourselves to our weak brothers and sisters, and together become strong with them. With some difficulty, of course, but that's the higher road. It's the road of Jesus. And I was reminded of this just a couple of weeks ago. We now have a Spanish-speaking household, a maisonette in Minneapolis. And these brothers and sisters are so holy and so beautiful. And it seems the Lord speaks right to their heart. And one of them, Cesar Prado, married to Imelda, he and his wife are part of the household. And they really had no interest at first in the renewal. They had no interest in, they're servant-hearted, beautiful people, deeply in love as a couple. But Cesar, in the last 2 months, has completely flowered in his vocation with the Emmanuel community. It's amazing. Just a couple of weeks ago, he shared something so simply in the household that I'll remember. I can't remember the words exactly, but he said, I realized I can do good by myself, and he's a real apostle in the Latino community. I can do good by myself, or I can do good with others. That's his choice. I can do good by myself, and he's done a lot of good, or I can do good with others. And he was talking about the Emmanuel community because he's really growing in love with the brothers and sisters of the community in Minneapolis. And so this is our choice. And I can give a little personal testimony that as a diocesan priest, this is the same kind of call. There's no inherent bind to the religious life. It's easy for a diocesan priest to be a lone ranger. I have my parish, I have my people, I have my priesthood. And there's a temptation to want to go it alone. But at least in my life, in walking with the community, always with some difficulty at times, being called out of myself. Okay, I can do good by myself, or I can do good with you brothers and sisters, and we can be good together. And we're beginning to see now in St. Paul, Minneapolis, what that togetherness does, what that friendship in the community does for the cause of Christ. So I'll finish with a quote from Fire and Hope, a decisive moment in the formation of the Emmanuel community in 1973. To this point, Pierre Goursat and Martine, at that time Lataf, what was before Lafitte, they were bearing the burden of most of the community of responsibility, and at a certain point they said, enough. We can't keep going it alone. And here's their quote. And this is Martine's quote. We can't continue like this. We have to associate to be able to serve together. And from that day on, we decided that we would no longer act individually. We began to serve and evangelize in association. Now things will advance. Hallelujah. Your friendship. I think we'll get to practice our friendship with Christ with adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. We're having some technical difficulties with the tabernacle, so it might take some. Yeah, I broke the key last night. But I think there's a way to open it. So
there's another tabernacle. That's the next step. Maybe the key is not yet broken.
Which is why I won't touch that.